There is a powerful truth many believers overlook: your words are not empty, they are containers of faith. What you consistently say has the ability to shape your reality, direct your path, and unlock doors that once seemed permanently closed. Too often, people pray for change but continue speaking doubt, fear, and limitation. That contradiction stops the flow of what they are believing for. When you begin to speak scriptures out loud boldly, consistently, and with expectation, you align yourself with a higher authority. You are no longer just hoping for success, favor, and increase. You are declaring it, enforcing it, and walking in it. This is not about wishful thinking. It is about cooperating with spiritual laws that respond to faith-filled words. Your voice matters. Your confession matters. And when your words begin to agree with divine promises, everything starts to shift. The power of spoken scriptures in shaping your life is a spiritual principle that operates whether you are conscious of it or not. Words are not just sounds that fade into the air. They are carriers of belief, direction, and authority. Every time you open your mouth, you are either building your future or limiting it. Many people spend their lives speaking what they see, what they feel, and what the world tells them, and then they wonder why nothing changes. But the moment you begin to speak scriptures, faith-filled, promise-based words, you step into a different system entirely, one that is governed not by circumstances but by truth. When you speak scriptures, you are not trying to convince yourself of something untrue. You are aligning your voice with what has already been established. This is where transformation begins, not outside but within. Because before your life changes on the outside, your thinking must change on the inside, and your words are the bridge between the two. As you consistently declare what is written, your mind begins to renew, your faith begins to rise, and your expectation starts to shift. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. There is a creative force in spoken words when they are backed by belief. Just as a seed produces after its own kind, your words produce after what they contain. If they contain doubt, fear, and defeat, that is what will grow. But if they are filled with truth, confidence, and promise, they begin to produce success, favor, and increase. This is why it is not enough to think positively in silence. You must speak it. The spoken word carries authority. It establishes what you accept and what you reject. Many people are waiting for something external to change before they change what they say. But it works the other way around. You must declare change before you see it. You must speak increase before it shows up. You must confess favor before doors open. This is where most people miss it. They allow their current situation to dictate their confession, instead of allowing their confession to dictate their situation. But when you take scriptures and begin to speak them boldly, even when everything around you says otherwise, you are planting seeds that cannot return empty. Consistency is what gives power to this principle. Speaking scriptures once or twice will not transform your life, but making it a daily practice begins to reshape your entire outlook. Your ears hear what your mouth says, and over time those words begin to dominate your thinking. Fear loses its grip, doubt weakens, confidence grows, and without even realizing it, you begin to carry yourself differently because your inner world has been reprogrammed by truth. This is not about empty repetition or mechanical speaking. It is about speaking with conviction, with awareness, and with expectation. When you declare scriptures, you are releasing faith into your life. You are agreeing with something greater than your current experience. And that agreement sets spiritual laws into motion that begin working on your behalf, even when you cannot see immediate results. And as you continue to speak day after day, refusing to let negative words take root, something begins to shift deep within you. A quiet confidence, a settled assurance that what you are saying is not just hopeful thinking, but a reality that is forming, taking shape, and moving closer with every word you release into the atmosphere. Faith-filled confessions are not merely positive statements you repeat to feel better. They are declarations that carry spiritual authority and creative power when they are rooted in belief. It is one thing to say words casually, and it is another to speak them from a place of deep conviction. The difference lies in faith. Without faith, words are empty, but with faith, they become forces that move things, shift atmospheres, and bring unseen realities into manifestation. Many people speak words of hope, but they mix those words with doubt, fear, and uncertainty. They say, "I believe things will get better," but in the next breath, they confess, "It probably won't work out." That mixture cancels the effectiveness of what they are trying to establish. Faith-filled confessions require alignment. Your heart and your mouth must agree. When you truly believe what you are saying, your words carry a different weight, a different authority, and they begin to produce results that natural effort alone cannot achieve. Success begins internally before it ever appears externally, and your confessions are what activate that process. When you consistently declare that you are guided, that you are equipped, that you are capable, and that you are positioned for success, you are not ignoring reality, you are redefining it. You are choosing to agree with a higher truth rather than limiting yourself to present circumstances. This kind of speaking trains your mind to expect success instead of failure. And expectation is a powerful force that influences your decisions, your actions, and your outcomes. There is also a discipline involved in maintaining faith-filled confessions. Your environment, your experiences, and even the people around you may try to pull you back into negative speaking. Situations may arise that seem to contradict everything you have been declaring. In those moments, the temptation is to go back to speaking what you see and feel. But this is where persistence becomes critical. You must learn to hold fast to your confession, refusing to let temporary circumstances rewrite what you have chosen to believe. Faith-filled confessions also shape your identity. Over time, what you say repeatedly becomes what you accept about yourself. If you constantly speak inadequacy, you will live beneath your potential. But when you boldly declare strength, wisdom, favor, and success, you begin to see yourself differently. That internal shift affects how you carry yourself, how you respond to challenges, and how you pursue opportunities. You begin to act in alignment with what you have been declaring, and that alignment produces results. It is important to understand that faith does not deny challenges, it rises above them. When you speak faith-filled confessions, you are not pretending problems do not exist. You are declaring that they do not have the final say. You are establishing a different outcome, one that is not dictated by limitations but by possibility. And as you continue to speak in faith, even when there is no visible evidence, you are setting something in motion that is working beyond what your natural senses can perceive. There comes a point where your confessions are no longer something you are trying to believe, but something you know deep within. And from that place of knowing, your words flow with confidence, authority, and unwavering assurance, activating success in ways that go beyond effort, beyond logic, and beyond what others may understand. Speaking favor over your daily walk is a deliberate act of aligning your expectations with a reality that goes beyond what you can naturally predict or control. Favor is not something you stumble into by chance. It is something you become conscious of, something you acknowledge, and something you consistently call into your life through the words you speak. Many people go through their days expecting obstacles, delays, rejection, and difficulty, and without realizing it, they are preparing themselves to encounter exactly those things. But when you begin to speak favor intentionally, you are setting a different tone for your day before it even unfolds. From the moment you wake up, your words begin shaping your experience. If you start your day saying, "Today is going to be difficult," your mind immediately begins to look for reasons to support that statement. But when you declare, "Favor surrounds me today, opportunities are coming my way, things are aligning in my favor," you are directing your focus toward possibilities instead of limitations. This shift is not just psychological, it is spiritual. You are creating an atmosphere where you are expectant of good things, and that expectation changes how you perceive and respond to everything around you. Favor has a way of opening doors that effort alone cannot open. There are moments when your qualifications may not seem enough, when the odds may not be in your favor, and when circumstances appear to be working against you. In those moments, your confession becomes crucial. Instead of speaking defeat or disqualification, you declare that favor goes before you, that you are accepted, that doors are opening, and that you are being positioned in the right place at the right time. These words begin to shape your confidence, and that confidence influences how you show up in every situation. Speaking favor also affects how others respond to you. When you carry an expectation of favor, it reflects in your attitude, your demeanor, and your interactions. You begin to approach people and opportunities with a quiet assurance rather than hesitation or fear. That inner confidence often draws positive responses, cooperation, and unexpected support. What may look like coincidence to others is often the result of a consistent pattern of believing and speaking that things are working in your favor. There will be times when your daily experiences seem to contradict what you are declaring. You may encounter delays, setbacks, or disappointments that challenge your belief in favor. In those moments, it becomes even more important to stay consistent with your words. Instead of saying, "Nothing is working out," you reinforce your declaration by saying, "Even this is turning in my favor. Something good is coming out of this." This kind of speaking keeps your focus anchored and prevents temporary situations from shaping your long-term outlook. As you continue to speak favor daily, it begins to influence not only your external experiences but also your internal state. You become less anxious, less reactive, and more at peace because you trust that things are unfolding in your favor, even when you do not have all the answers. That trust allows you to move forward with confidence rather than hesitation, to take steps you might otherwise avoid, and to embrace opportunities you might have overlooked. Over time, this practice becomes a natural part of your life. You no longer have to remind yourself to speak favor. It becomes your default response. Your words begin to consistently reflect expectation rather than doubt, confidence rather than fear, and possibility rather than limitation. And as this pattern continues, you find yourself walking through your days with a steady awareness that you are supported, positioned, and surrounded by favor in ways that are unfolding moment by moment as you continue to declare it with conviction and consistency. Declaring increase in finances, health, and opportunities begins with a shift in how you see provision, well-being, and possibility. Many people are conditioned to expect just enough, to settle for survival, and to accept limitations as permanent. They speak in terms of lack, saying things like, "I can't afford it," "I never have enough," or "things never improve for me." And those words quietly reinforce a cycle that keeps them in the same place. But when you begin to declare increase, you are challenging that cycle at its root by refusing to let limitation define your expectation. Increase is not something you wait for. It is something you call forth through agreement with what is already available but not yet visible. When you declare increase over your finances, you are not ignoring your current balance or pretending challenges do not exist. You are establishing a different direction. You begin to say, "My resources are growing, new streams are opening, I am blessed with more than enough." And as you do, your thinking begins to expand. You become more aware of ideas, connections, and opportunities that you may have overlooked before. Your mindset shifts from restriction to possibility, and that shift influences your actions in practical ways. The same principle applies to your health. Many people unknowingly speak weakness, fatigue, and decline over their bodies. They constantly affirm how tired they are, how stressed they feel, or how their condition is not improving. But when you begin to declare increase in strength, vitality, and restoration, you are speaking life where there has been discouragement. You say, "My body is strong, I am energized, I am improving every day." And those words begin to affect not only your outlook but also your habits. You become more intentional about how you care for yourself, more aware of what supports your well-being, and more confident in your ability to improve. Opportunities also respond to what you expect and declare. If you believe there are no opportunities for you, you will stop looking, stop trying, and stop positioning yourself for growth. But when you consistently declare that opportunities are coming your way, that doors are opening, and that you are being connected to the right people, you begin to carry a different level of awareness. You notice possibilities that once seemed insignificant. You take steps you might have hesitated to take. You place yourself in environments where growth is possible because your words have prepared your mindset to recognize and receive. Declaring increase requires persistence, especially when your current reality does not yet reflect what you are saying. There may be times when finances feel tight, when your energy feels low, or when opportunities seem distant. In those moments, the temptation is to revert to speaking what you see. But if you stay consistent with your declarations, you are reinforcing a new pattern. You are refusing to let temporary conditions establish permanent beliefs. Instead, you are choosing to align your words with a direction that leads to growth and expansion. This practice also builds a sense of expectation that influences your daily decisions. When you expect increase, you begin to act differently. You plan differently, you think long-term instead of short-term, and you become more open to stepping outside your comfort zone. That openness creates space for change, and that space allows new things to enter your life. Your words are no longer just statements, they become a foundation upon which your actions are built. Over time, declaring increase becomes more than something you say. It becomes something you anticipate with confidence. You begin to carry an inner assurance that things are moving forward, that progress is happening, even when it is not immediately visible, and that growth is inevitable because you have aligned your voice, your thinking, and your expectation with a pattern of increase that continues to unfold as you consistently speak it into every area of your life with unwavering belief and persistence. Aligning your words with God's promises requires a conscious decision to let truth define your speech rather than circumstances, emotions, or past experiences. Many people speak based on what they feel in the moment or what they have gone through over time, and as a result, their words often reflect fear, doubt, or limitation. But when you choose to align your words with divine promises, you are making a shift from reacting to life to declaring a higher reality that is not subject to change. This alignment is not automatic, it is intentional, and it must be practiced daily until it becomes your natural way of speaking. There is often a gap between what is promised and what is currently visible, and that gap is where most people struggle. They look at their situation and feel compelled to describe it exactly as it is, even if it contradicts what they are believing for. But alignment means you refuse to let that gap dictate your confession. Instead, you allow what is promised to shape what you say, even when there is no immediate evidence. You begin to declare provision when you feel lack, peace when you feel pressure, strength when you feel weak, and direction when things seem uncertain. This is not denial. It is a deliberate choice to agree with something greater than your present reality. Your words act as a form of agreement, and whatever you consistently agree with gains influence in your life. If your words constantly agree with problems, those problems become more dominant in your thinking and expectation. But when your words consistently agree with promises, those promises begin to take root within you. They reshape how you think, how you perceive situations, and how you respond to challenges. Over time, this internal shift becomes more powerful than any external pressure, because your foundation is no longer based on what changes, but on what remains constant. This alignment also requires discipline, because there will be many opportunities to speak contrary to what you are believing. Situations may arise that tempt you to complain, to express frustration, or to speak negatively about your circumstances. In those moments, you must be aware of what you are saying and make a conscious adjustment. Instead of speaking words that reinforce the problem, you choose words that reflect the promise. This may feel unnatural at first because it goes against habitual patterns, but with consistency, it becomes easier and more natural. As your words become aligned, your faith becomes stronger. There is a connection between what you say and what you believe. And the more you speak in agreement with promises, the more convinced you become of their reality. Doubt begins to lose its influence because your mind is no longer being fed conflicting messages. Instead, it is being reinforced with consistency and clarity. This creates a sense of stability within you, even when external conditions are unstable. Aligning your words also affects your emotional state. When you speak words that are rooted in truth and promise, you begin to experience more peace, more confidence, and more assurance. Your focus shifts away from uncertainty and toward expectation. This does not mean challenges disappear, but it means they no longer control your outlook. You are able to remain steady because your words are anchored in something unchanging. This process transforms your perspective over time. You begin to see situations differently, not as obstacles that define your limits, but as circumstances that are subject to change. Your language reflects that shift, and your conversations begin to carry a tone of confidence and expectation rather than hesitation and doubt. Others may notice the difference in how you speak, but for you, it becomes a natural expression of what you have come to believe. As you continue to practice this alignment, it begins to influence every area of your life. Your decisions, your actions, and your responses all start to reflect the consistency of your words. You are no longer speaking one way and living another. There is a harmony between what you say and how you live, and that harmony creates a sense of direction and purpose that carries you forward with clarity and conviction as your words remain firmly rooted in promises that you have chosen to declare regardless of what circumstances may suggest at any given moment. Overcoming doubt through consistent confession is a process that requires persistence, awareness, and a refusal to let opposing thoughts take control of your inner dialogue. Doubt does not usually appear as something obvious or loud. It often comes subtly, through thoughts of uncertainty, hesitation, and questions that challenge what you are trying to believe. It shows up when circumstances do not change quickly, when results seem delayed, or when past experiences try to convince you that things will always remain the same. If left unchecked, doubt begins to influence your words, and once it reaches your words, it starts shaping your expectations. Consistent confession acts as a counterforce to doubt. It is not about ignoring those doubtful thoughts, but about refusing to give them authority. When doubt says, "This is not going to work," your confession responds, "It is already working in ways I cannot yet see." When doubt suggests that nothing is changing, your words declare that progress is happening. This repetition is not empty, it is intentional reinforcement. You are choosing which voice will dominate your thinking, and over time, the voice you repeat the most becomes the one you believe. The challenge many people face is inconsistency. They speak positively for a short time, but when doubt arises or circumstances become difficult, they revert back to negative speaking. That inconsistency weakens the impact of their confession. To overcome doubt, your confession must remain steady regardless of how you feel or what you see. There will be moments when your words feel like they are contradicting your reality, but those are the moments that matter most. That is where your persistence begins to separate what is temporary from what is lasting. Doubt feeds on repetition just as much as faith does. If you constantly entertain doubtful thoughts and give them expression, they grow stronger. But when you consistently speak words of belief, even in the presence of doubt, you begin to starve it. It loses its influence because it is no longer being reinforced. Instead, your mind is being trained to accept a different perspective, one that is built on confidence rather than uncertainty. This does not happen overnight, but it does happen with steady and deliberate practice. There is also an element of discipline in guarding your words. You become more aware of what you are about to say and whether it aligns with what you are trying to establish. You catch yourself before speaking negatively, and you replace those words with something that supports your belief. This requires effort in the beginning because it goes against natural reactions, especially in challenging situations. But as you continue, it becomes easier, and eventually it becomes your default response. Consistent confession also strengthens your inner resilience. Instead of being easily shaken by circumstances, you develop a steadiness that comes from repetition and reinforcement. You begin to trust what you are saying, even when there is no immediate evidence to support it. That trust builds confidence, and that confidence reduces the space where doubt can operate. You are no longer easily swayed by what you see or hear because your words have established a stronger internal foundation. Over time, the presence of doubt diminishes. It may still attempt to appear, but it no longer carries the same weight or influence. Your immediate response becomes one of reaffirmation rather than agreement. You recognize doubtful thoughts for what they are, and you address them quickly with words that align with your belief. This quick response prevents doubt from taking root and growing stronger. As this pattern continues, you begin to notice a shift in your overall mindset. You think differently, you speak differently, and you respond differently. Situations that once caused hesitation no longer have the same effect because your confidence has been built through repetition. Your words have trained your mind to expect positive outcomes, and that expectation influences how you approach every area of your life. What once felt like effort eventually becomes natural, and your confessions begin to flow without resistance, replacing uncertainty with clarity, hesitation with confidence, and doubt with a steady assurance that continues to grow stronger each day as you consistently choose to speak in alignment with what you have decided to believe, regardless of what thoughts or circumstances attempt to challenge it. Living a lifestyle of bold, daily declarations is about moving beyond occasional moments of positive speaking into a consistent pattern that defines how you think, speak, and respond every single day. It is not something you do only when you feel motivated or when circumstances are favorable. It becomes a way of life that you carry into every situation, every conversation, and every decision. Many people treat declarations as a temporary practice, something they turn to when they need encouragement. But a lifestyle means it is no longer optional. It is a foundational part of how you operate. Boldness is a key part of this lifestyle because timid or uncertain words do not carry the same impact. When you speak boldly, you are expressing confidence in what you are declaring, even if you have not yet seen it manifest. This boldness is not arrogance, it is assurance. It comes from a place of conviction, where you are no longer hesitant about what you believe. You are not whispering your expectations, you are declaring them with clarity and authority, allowing your words to reflect the strength of your belief rather than the weakness of your doubts. Daily consistency is what transforms declarations from a practice into a lifestyle. It is easy to speak positively once or twice, but real change comes when you do it every day without interruption. Your mornings begin with intentional words that set the direction for your day. As you go through different situations, you continue to reinforce those declarations, not allowing negative circumstances to change what you have already established. At night, your words still reflect expectation, reinforcing what you are believing for rather than reviewing everything that went wrong. This cycle of consistent speaking begins to shape your entire perspective over time. A lifestyle of declarations also requires awareness of your environment and influences. You begin to recognize how conversations, media, and the people around you can affect your words. Instead of passively absorbing negativity, you become more selective about what you allow into your thinking. You protect your mindset because you understand that what goes in will eventually come out. This awareness helps you maintain consistency in your declarations, even when external influences attempt to pull you in a different direction. There is also a level of responsibility that comes with this lifestyle. You can no longer speak carelessly or without thought. Your words are chosen deliberately because you understand their impact. Complaining, negativity, and careless speech begin to lose their place in your vocabulary because they no longer align with the life you are building. Instead, your words become purposeful, focused, and aligned with the direction you have chosen. This shift may require you to break old habits, but as you continue, those old patterns lose their hold. As you live this way, your declarations begin to influence not just your internal state, but also your external actions. You start making decisions that align with what you are speaking. You take steps that reflect your confidence. You pursue opportunities that match your expectations. Your words and your actions begin to move together, creating a sense of alignment that brings clarity and direction. You are no longer divided between what you say and what you do. There is a consistency that strengthens both. Over time, this lifestyle builds momentum. What once required effort becomes natural, and what once felt forced becomes authentic. Your words flow easily because they are rooted in what you truly believe. You begin to notice that your reactions to challenges are different, your outlook is more stable, and your confidence is more consistent. This is not because circumstances have stopped changing, but because your foundation has become steady through daily reinforcement. Living with bold, daily declarations also influences how others perceive and interact with you. Your consistency, your confidence, and your clarity of speech create a presence that stands out. People begin to recognize a difference in how you carry yourself, how you respond under pressure, and how you approach situations. This influence is not something you force, it is a natural result of living in alignment with what you consistently declare. As this pattern continues, your life becomes a reflection of what you have been speaking. Your words are no longer just expressions. They become a framework through which you experience life, shaping your expectations, guiding your responses, and reinforcing your direction as you continue to declare with boldness and consistency, allowing those declarations to define your mindset, your actions, and your daily walk in a way that steadily transforms how you see yourself and the possibilities that unfold before you. In the end, everything comes back to one simple but powerful truth: your words are shaping the direction of your life every single day. What you consistently speak is what you begin to believe, and what you believe is what you eventually experience. Success, favor, and increase are not distant possibilities reserved for a few. They are realities that begin to take form when your words align with truth, when your confessions are filled with faith, and when your declarations remain steady regardless of circumstances. This is not about perfection, but about consistency. There may be moments when doubt tries to rise, when situations seem unchanged, or when progress feels slow, but those are the moments where your words matter most. Instead of retreating into fear or negativity, you stand firm in what you have been declaring. You continue to speak life, to speak favor, to speak increase, knowing that every word is a seed being planted. As you build this habit, something begins to shift within you. Your mindset becomes stronger, your expectations become higher, and your confidence becomes more stable. You are no longer moved by what you see alone. You are anchored in what you have chosen to believe and declare. Your words begin to guide your actions. Your actions begin to align with your declarations, and your life starts moving in the direction you have been speaking. Doors that once seemed closed begin to open. Opportunities that once felt out of reach begin to appear. Strength rises where there was once weakness, and clarity replaces confusion. Not because of chance, but because you have made a decision to take control of your words and align them with a greater reality. And as you continue this journey, day after day, speaking with boldness, consistency, and unwavering faith, you step into a life where your voice is no longer just expressing what is happening, but actively shaping what is yet to come, establishing success, walking in favor, and experiencing increase in ways that continue to unfold as you remain committed to speaking what you believe until it becomes what you see